Okay, in this video I pulled 4 more questions, Ohm's law, and where we've done a couple for resistor. These first two they want to know what current, and then these we want to do the voltage. All right, so again we want to keep in mind our one equation, that voltage is equal to the current times the resistance. If we divide both sides by R, we get I then is equal to V divided by R. And if we divide both sides by I, we get R then is equal to V over I. We've already done this one, so we're now looking for voltage and current. So these are the equations that we're going to be using. And again, if you write this stuff down in your test paper before you even start answering questions, first of all, it's going to relax you a bit and get your mind in math mode. I know when I was teaching over at the community college, and I occasionally would teach classes other than math, and I would do like a video production class or something, and then my next class right after that was a math class, and my mind was not in math mode. I had to sit down and think about it for a bit and kind of switch into math mode in order to do it. So you might have that same problem. All right, so let's get to our problems here and see how we would work it. Now this is just for the sake of algebra, even though I'm using live problems. These came out of the technician manual. I could have made some up, but since these are already made up and look like the actual test questions that you'll be using, plus this will dovetail nicely into the video that I do for the technical level. I'm doing the extra first and then the general, and I'll do the technician, since everybody in our club is already at least a technician or greater. Okay, so what is the current through a 100 ohm resistor connected across 200 volts? So we don't know what the current is, so I equals, and we know that I is the voltage over the resistance. The voltage is 200 volts. The current, the resistor is 100 ohms. But you don't even need a calculator for this one. That zero cancels that out, that zero cancels that out, and we're left with 2 over 1. Well, 2 over 1 is 2 divided by 1, or just 2. So the current going through a 100 ohm resistor connected across 200 volts is 2 amps. Okay, same thing, I'm just going to write down what the equation is. Now I don't know if they allow you to write on the test answer. I can't remember the test well enough. They might, I don't know. Ask the testing people. Okay, so we want to know what the current is through a 24 ohm resistor connected across 240 volts. So we have 240 volts divided by our resistor, which is 24 ohms. Okay, and what do you want to bet that goes in there 10 times? And if you're unsure of your arithmetic, even if it's falling down simple and you can answer it in your head every time, remember that taking a test creates some stress. It doesn't hurt to check your answers. 240 divided by 24, and yeah, we get 10. That way you're absolutely 100% positive the right answer, and that's one of our choices. And if you should do a calculation and nothing matches, well, first of all, make sure that none of the above isn't an option, because they do like to do that once in a while. But these, they want you to use Ohm's law. So there should be an answer. If you get something that's different, go back and check your arithmetic. All right, so now we want to know voltage. Well, that's the original formula. Voltage is equal to the current times the resistance. So what is the voltage across a 2 ohm resistor? So we have V then is equal to, we have a current of 0.5. That's our current. In multiplication, the order really doesn't matter, but I want to keep it in the same order as my formula. That way I don't get confused as to what the letters stand for, because that can be confusing. Okay, so we have a current of 0.5 amps, that's half an amp, times our 2 ohm resistor. So that's going to come out as a volt, but let's do it on the calculator just to make sure I didn't screw up the arithmetic. Now, when you see decimal numbers and they have a 0 in front of them, why did they do that? That's confusing. 0 doesn't, I can't do anything with it. They do that so that you know that this is a decimal number. It's less than 1. They put a 0 in front to help you recognize that that's not 0.5 without the decimal point. But it adds nothing to the calculation, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's take 0.5 times our 2, and indeed we get 1 volt. And that's one of our choices. First choice here, problem solved. Okay. And it's always a good idea to read any question a couple of times. Make sure you understand what they're asking for. So what is the voltage across a 10 ohm resistor if a current of 1 amp flows through it? Okay, so again, we don't know what the voltage is, so that's going to be voltage then is equal to the current times the resistance. Our current is 1 amp times our resistor of 10 ohms. And again, we don't really need a calculator even to verify this. 1 times 10 is 10. 1 times any number is whatever the number is. And there's our choice right there. Now what I should have had you do at the beginning is, before I work these out, is have you work them with your knowledge. That was supposed to be your homework. So now that you've made it all the way through, you might go back and practice this. Or mix up the values a little bit. Choose your own values. Just get used to what the formulas are and how to manipulate them. Okay? How to do the algebra on them, and then just how to plug values, because that's really all you're doing. All right. So practice, practice, practice. Unfortunately, with learning math, there is no substitution for practice. Got to do it. Okay. See you in the next video.